Okay, ready to fit this saddle seat on. Now, apart from marking the back of this candle, I haven't actually put it on the tree at all yet. It's all cut straight off the pattern, and now I'm ready to fit it. Now, first is I always fit the front. I kind of do mine backwards to a lot of saddlers, but I fit the front exactly where I want it to be. You're not going to be able to see me do this side, but both sides are exactly the same. So these screws will come out. The seat's got to come off again, but I just put some screws in. Like I say, this side is exactly where I want it to be. I'm not going to alter these screw holes. This is where it will end up. And the final finished product will be exactly through these holes. So make sure that they're where you want them to be. Okay, now these are only just holding the seat while we get it fitted. Now, I know this seat cut is exactly right. It takes a little bit of pulling to get it on, but the front is fitted, as I said, where you want it to be. This fit round here is all good. You could use tacks or whatever to hold this. I just like to put screws in because they hold well. And I don't have to worry about it moving at all. Okay, now let's get some tools. Right, hammer. Now, I've got this saddle held down on the stand down here by down at the rigging D's with a strap underneath, which I'll show you later. But right now is where I pull a lot of leather up into the middle of the seat, just here. Looks ridiculous, looks like it's not going to work, looks like you won't be able to get that out, but you can see that's a big lump of leather. But as you'll see in a minute, it will all be gone. So I line my ears up where they've got to be, and I put an awl in there to hold it. Now it's important to get these holes right straight away the first time. I've got marks on the tree down here. I don't know whether they're visible on the camera, but I do have marks here. And my seat cuts, because I know these cuts are exactly the same on both sides because they're off a pattern. So I've got to make sure that they are just over the, so we need enough here to sew, but they've got to be in exactly the same spot on both sides, which is not that hard to do. You can use reference points, like these skirts are on square, so this seat, as it crosses over this rivet, I can check on this side and make sure it's crossing the rivet at the same spot. If the seat was up here or covering the rivet, well, I know that it's not right, but that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that down right there and put a spike in it. Now we've got all this extra leather in here to get rid of. Now what we do is get one of these, and there's a couple of things with this seat. I like to put a lot of leather here. I usually get sort of that much extra in the candle and rub it down in there, just like so. And you can see straight away that I've put probably an extra inch of leather in there. Now that's going to want to pop back out as I do this down here, but the leather's starting to dry out. It's a pretty warm day here today. This leather has been wet down and it's starting to dry, and it's at a pretty good consistency for me to work, but if it's starting to dry too much, just give it a little squirt and some water. Now I like to use a rolling pin, and I like to roll this leather up to the centre. Now part of the reason I like a rolling pin is because it doesn't mark the leather up so much. Now this leather, you can see here in the middle, like so. I want it to stay there. I don't want it to come out on the edges of the seat, because what happens, these will start to curl up if you do that, and this will all pop out if you don't put that extra leather in there. Now what I'm going to do is put my strap over the top. And I'm going to lock that down in place. Now that leather's still stuck up in here, so as I pull it down, this hasn't moved. That leather is still in the centre. It hasn't gone anywhere. So I can just now once again start from here and roll that back up that way, and the same this side, and that leather is all still in there. So you know, I've put more than an inch of leather in there, I guess. Now you've seen that it's taken me probably 3 or 4 minutes, I guess, to put that seat on, and whoops, so you can still see what's going on. Just move that back a little. And as you can see, that seat has gone on real nice, and that's it. Like, that seat now is ready. If this was just a slick seat saddle, I'd go right on ahead, pull this back, glue this, glue that, and put the shine roll binder on. I've got to cut my hand hole in here. I never cut that out first, always cut that out last. So I've got to cut a hand hole. This has got to have a padded seat in it, which I'll go through, but for now, this seat, essentially, if it was a slick seat saddle, this would be glued down right now, and I'd go on ahead and finish this. But you can see all that leather now is pushed up into here. We've got the big bunch of leather that was in there, that's all been pushed that way, so this will never shrink back. I've got leather pushed in here, which I'll push some more in as this gets sort of drier, but I've got a lot of leather pushed here down in there, so the seat won't go anywhere. I'll just try and get this camera off without wobbling too much, just so you can see across that seat. It's got a nice pocket in it, no wrinkles. Fits all good. Obviously as it dries out I can just sort of finish it off, and as I said, I've got to cut a hand hole in here, but the seat itself is nice and smooth. There's no wrinkles at all, and that seat will never ever pop out when, you know, as it gets older.